Wow. Like, seriously, wow. You guys are amazing. You really are. Can't thank you enough for your willingness to take, 8, 10, 15, 20 minutes out of your daily day-to-day stuff and watch my channel. I am shocked completely beyond belief, honestly, that as of today, right now, what is it, 5:05 as I'm filming this, I have 215 followers. Almost 220 followers. I cannot believe it. I really cannot believe it. You guys are so awesome. I'm profoundly grateful and thankful for the comments and people coming to tune in. Shout out to Michael Ludwigs again for turning me on to this whole thing and really, hey, you got to do your own channel, man. Chad Cassim over at Acoustic Sounds, the whole team at Acoustic Sounds, they sent out a mailer to folks via Instagram and I believe email. So, thanks for tuning in. AB Impex Records, you're so awesome. The whole team over there. Thank you for, putting me on your mailing list as well on I believe it's Instagram that it came out. You guys are awesome. Seriously. So anyway, what am I going to talk to you about today? Great question. Let me think about it for a minute. Okay, I thought about it. Here's what I'm going to talk about. So the title, as you can see, is, 5 records to set up your hi-fi. And really the truth of the matter is that you could have 55, you could have 550, you could probably have 5,500 amazing sounding records across the world, all genres, that you can use to set up your hi-fi that are not audiophile records. By, audiophile, I mean, you go to a show and, someone's like, oh my God, have you heard so-and-so? Have you heard such and such, right? So, I mean, just, normal records that you can buy that are not really special editions of any kind, and you can do a pretty darn good job of setting up a hi-fi. And not only that, once you have it set up, you're actually just going to be like, holy crap, man, this music is just nuts. It's amazing, right? So, what are my 5 picks for today out of the 5,500, right? That I am going to show you and talk about. Well, let's take a look. First one, straight up, and I actually brought this up on 45 RPM audiophile a couple of months ago. This is a phenomenal record. It's Eva Cassidy, and the album's Nightbird, and she recorded this live at the Blues Alley in DC, which is of course where she's from. And the tragic story, or the tragic part really, is this was recorded in January of '96, and I think by March or April, she was gone, right? Melanoma, get your skin checked, get your cancer checked, because you never know, man. In fact, I gotta make a mental note to get an appointment done. But anyway, fabulous, fabulous record. This happens to be the, I believe it's 8 discs, if I'm not mistaken. 8 discs in here. This is the 45 RPM. Nod and shout out to 45 RPM audiophile. This is the 45. There is the 33, which I think is only 4 discs. Yeah, because this one's 8. So the 33 is 4 discs. I think Acoustic Sound still has them. Highly, highly recommended. The thing you're going to hear when you play this is, live club atmosphere. So, there's dishes being banged up. There's, knives and forks and, people doing what they do in a club situation, club scenario, right? You hear an intimacy in the recording that is just absolutely stunning. Stage is well lit from a mic perspective and an instrumental perspective. So, you get the definition, you get the depth, you get the layering, you get the just the club atmosphere, right? I mean, it's really, really a very well recorded live record that I highly recommend you get. And like I said, it's still in print. And I guess this would qualify as an audiophile record. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Is it an audiophile record? Leave it in the comments below. Let's see what you guys think. The next one that's coming up is another live recording, actually. Gee, I didn't even notice it up until I looked at this just now. Many of these are live recordings. Go figure. So this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I brought this up on Michael Ludwig's channel as well. This is the great Michel Jonas from France. Phenomenal chansonnière. All the French-speaking people that are watching, merci beaucoup. Hein? And so the album is called La Fabuleuse Historie de Mr. Swing. And so what a great record. Philip O'Hanlon, distributor extraordinaire for a whole bunch of high-end gear and entry-level stuff. I mean, he does a great job with kind of like varying price spectrums here in the UK. He's an Irishman. I'll probably have him on my channel at some point. Great friend of mine, known each other for 20 years. He actually, talk about a guy that knows music. I get so many recommendations from him. Anyway, his recommendation, the track that you want to queue up is a 2 LP set. Beautiful gatefold as well. There you see. Great. It's got the little, it's kind of like Led Zeppelin 3. It's got the little thing that you can twist inside to change the artwork around, which is kind of cool. This was recorded live in a club. The track that you want to listen to is on record 2, side 1, Le Temps Passé. And let me tell you something. If you don't think that records can have bass, if you don't think records can have dynamic slam, you're in for a surprise when you play this record, because it's got all of it. So live recording, again, similar to the Eva Cassidy in a French Parisian nightclub. And, he's Michel Jonas, obviously, he's got his old bandmates there. And, fabulous singer, really a fabulous singer. Of course, everything is in French. But, you'll get the catch of the music. This track in particular is like an 8-minute session. I use it, frankly, to tell, A, what dynamic swings your system is capable of, and B, it's a very slow building up song that starts off with this absolutely insane bass line that literally, it's so well recorded. This whole album is really well recorded. But this particular cut, I don't know what happened, if all the stars were aligned. The guy at the console was, doing what he was doing, but doing it extra specially well or whatever. It is astounding what you can get as far as bass resolution, texture, quality, tightness. If it sounds flabby and if it sounds woolly and kind of like boom, boom, well, that's not what it sounds like really, right? It's got to have that tightness. It's got to have that percussive element. And, man, it's killer. Absolutely a fabulous record. You can pick this up. So, funny story. You can pick this up. Generally, it's available, I would say. I happen to have looked just right before this video, and of course it's not available. eBay only has one copy for sale in Canada for $80. Thank you, Prime Minister. But I haven't looked on Discogs. Give it take a look at it. I'll post it in the description below, the title and stuff. You should be able to find it. And no, I don't think it's an $80 record. I have 2 copies actually, and I paid, I think $20 each. And the funny story, which I forgot to get into, the funny story is I found both copies at, it wasn't Fingerprints. It was at Amoeba. I found both copies at Amoeba. I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. They were right there in the section. And I was like, hey, hard to find, in person. Let me get them and pick them up. And so that's what I did. So anyway, that's number 2. We have 3 more to go. This next one would be an audiophile record if audiophiles recognize the quality of it. So let's not tell them, because what's going to happen is, prices are going to go from $5-10, which it is right now on eBay and Discogs, to, who knows what it's going to go to, $50-80, whatever. So be quiet. Don't tell audiophiles. Let's keep it a secret. Paul Horn, alto flutist, obviously very rich musical history, beautiful cover, embossed gold. And it's called Inside the Great Pyramid. And of course it was recorded. I suppose I should have this here because the lighting is better, I think. It was recorded, believe it or not, in the Great Pyramid of Giza, and in some of the individual chambers, obviously. And let me tell you something. So this was recorded, actually, shout out to Nagra, on a Nagra 4S with a Studer mic. Don't know which model. Recorded live, obviously, to 2-track. And you hear Paul Horn, and let me tell you what you're going to listen for. You're going to listen for ambient retrieval, for imaging, and you're going to listen for texture of the recorded space in your own four walls, listening really realistically, I'm not even kidding, to the sound of the pyramids inside. I mean, every time I play this record, no joke, I get goosebumps. It's almost like you're time traveling to, 4,500 years ago. I think they were built 2,500 BC. So about 4,500 years ago, which in of itself is kind of like spooky. But anyway, and then you're inside the pyramid, right? And, Paul Horn with his alto flute, and it's I guess what you would consider world music and stuff. But let me tell you, no matter which speakers you have, no matter what setup you have, small speakers, big speakers, you should be able to hear the ambience. You should be able to hear the texture of the air, literally. And the flute should just literally be, Paul Horn somewhere, between your speakers off to a distance. And man, when your setup is nailed, and when you've got it tweaked to where it sounds just right, holy cow, it is holographic. It's an absolutely sensational record. So highly recommend it. Literally, it's a double LP, $5-10 on eBay. Tons of copies available. Next one up. This is a great one. Yello, The Race. And this is, of course, the 12-inch, 45 RPM single out of it. It's off of the album Flag. Came out in, what was it, 90, 91, I think? 89, somewhere around there. I've been a huge Yello fan since the mid-'80s when I got into them with Desire. Or no, not Desire. What was it? I think it was Desire. My roommate played it. In any event, this record, here's what you're going to listen for. So first of all, Yello, electronic music pioneers of the highest order. They kind of often get compared to kind of Kraftwerk and some of the other pioneers of analog synthesizers, Jean-Michel Jarre, and many others that came at the same time in the sort of late 70s. And these guys, Boris Blank is the front man for all the programming and all the synths and the sound and all the instrumental layers and instruments themselves. And then Dieter Meier is the front man of the band, right? He's the singer. And so the two of them together, Boris Blank and Dieter Meier, the sound they create is truly exceptional, out of this world. This particular track, so it's 12 and a half minutes long. What you want to listen for, frankly, is the entire album, or the entire song, has such a panoramic cinemascope, cinerama, 70 millimeter print, whatever you want to call it, film-like vision in front of you, that you close your eyes and you literally see race cars going back and forth, flying through your room, engines revving. It's a very catchy tune and a very catchy rhythm. Phenomenal beat to it. The drums are awesome. Tight, punchy. Boris Blank, like I said, he's behind the controls, man. Well, I guess they didn't use Pro Tools back then, but back in the 90s or late 80s, whatever they were using. Absolutely very well done. Phenomenal sound quality, obviously, which is, why it's in here, of course. And just a phenomenal sounding record from, literally, you hear, there's so much information in this song. There's bells, there's, special effects, there's like phase shifts going on. I mean, you literally, again, it's kind of like the Paul Horn, but even on a higher, larger level almost. Because it's all electronic, right? The other one was live. This is all, made up stuff in a way. And so, the sound stage is just ginormous, right? So anyway, you want to listen for that. And, I always play this track when I want to listen to, particularly new speakers that I get in for a review or, tweaking someone else's system. You want to hear that, again, the cars whizzing through the room from left to right, almost behind you, in you, through you. It is spectacular. Very, very well done record. Yello the Race, go find it. I'm sure it's on eBay. I'm sure it's on Discogs. I think I paid $10 for mine. Last but not least, Top Gun. No, not really. Don't, leave my Top Gun alone. Final one. This is a great one. Again, sort of in the theme of instrumental texture and layers and the ability to, listen to a soundstage and imaging. I'm big into soundstage imaging and dynamics, right? I mean, that's kind of like my bias, if you want to call it. If the system can't do that and replicate that, I have a hard time enjoying the music, the experience that it gives me, right? I need to have that as an experience in order to really enjoy the music. So it's actually two records. Well, really one. It's Edgar Varese, and it's called Ionisation. I think he composed this in 1920-21. And it's available on Nonsuch. So this is the inexpensive version. Let me make sure the lights. Yeah, there you go. This is the inexpensive version. $10, I think $15 on eBay or Discogs. Very, very well recorded. And if you want to go bonkers all out, you go get the Speaker's Corner Decca reissue that came out, 10, 15 years ago. And this one is, of course, with the incredible, incomparable Zubin Mehta, the Los Angeles Phil. I believe it was recorded in Royce Hall, where Zubin and the LA Phil did a lot of their records. The Mahler 3 from that same era is unbelievable. But anyway, Edgar Varese, great sort of avant-garde instrumentalist composer. Lots of percussive elements before percussion became a thing, right? So in this track, I mean, he uses like fire engine sirens, obviously all sorts of percussive elements to create this sound. So when I play this on my setup, and in future videos you'll get to see what this looks like, you will have a soundstage depth that literally will transport you to Rice Hall. You will, I was jokingly, I think in one of my reviews, I said, it's like, I feel like, I'm 60 feet away from the end of the room, right? And it really feels that way. It's so well recorded. Incidentally, both are the Decca with Zubin as well as the Nonsuch. And frankly, I don't know. I don't remember where the Nonsuch was recorded at, but it is phenomenal. Again, for listening for that depth, the wall-to-wall cover. It's kind of like, I often see people with, decent HiFis, great HiFis even. And every time I see them, it's like I see speakers stuck right by the wall. yeah, you got to give speakers room to breathe. You really do. Take them out a little bit into the room. I know that that's always an issue with, hey, my wife doesn't like this, my husband doesn't like this, my partner doesn't like this, whatever. You got to experience the music, and you got to give loudspeakers a little room to breathe, right? So take a listen to these. I'll post them in the description. Curious to see what the comments are. And again, thanks for watching. Can't believe it. Like I said, 215 or 220 subscribers by now. Totally blown away. First video dropped 2 days ago, Sunday. So thanks, guys. And we'll see you all very, very soon again. Cheers.